guys should be good there. Go ahead and X out of that. You should be live now.
Yeah, I think I felt the buzz.
Good.
All right.
Hit your record, and you're good to go.
All right.
1, 2, 3. 1, 1, 2, 1, 2. Then
Okay.
you're number 4.
The 4, okay.
You need to adjust. Good to go.
Thank you, sir.
Pop it up.
All right.
All right.
Oh wait, I don't have your Twitter or anything, do I? So I don't think I have one.
Well, maybe not. I thought you did, but maybe not.
I thought I did, but I think I just sent it to myself.
All right. Get all the rattling out of the way.
They still make those?
They made this one.
What is that? I'm excited to find out.
I will have to talk about it.
Okay.
Comic Book Pit is live. Yeah, that's why I figured it's after the fact, but it's something different.
Oh, yeah, no, that is
Cable
different
on.
because it's... What?
I heard about. I'll fill you in.
Okay.
Yeah.
This,
And then
I didn't hear about this at all, so I'm very intrigued.
Yes. Did you go to local comic shop day? Or it was like
Black
on
Friday?
Saturday? Or the
Local
week before.
business?
It was. I think it
The
was
week
the
small
week.
business.
before.
It was the week
Oh.
before.
Yeah.
I did not then, apparently.
That was the book that was released that day. So
All right, then.
2 shops, but you had to pay for it, so it wasn't like a
Well,
freebie.
sure, yeah.
Yeah, but that was like
Okay.
their hook to come in. So
Mhm.
yeah.
Okay. Are you ready to
We're
to
ready.
go?
Sure.
We're good to go.
We're ready.
All right. Welcome back to the Comic Book Pit podcast. This is episode 333.
Nice.
Trip threes. Play that number in the lottery, folks. We are a comic book discussion and review podcast. I'm Dan, and with me in the amazing Sorgatron Media studio in, well, I was going to say bright and sunny Beachview, but
No.
Yeah.
dark and dreary Beachview today as we're in the doldrums of December. On the comfy purple couch, we've got
Purple.
Scott Headland,
What's up, people?
wanted, dead or alive,
Yeah.
and Link.
Hey, everybody.
I don't have anything.
I got nothing.
I
don't know,
got
do
nothing.
do I need a
With
catchphrase?
I
his
thought-
Christmas shirt.
Yeah, with
With his,
yeah.
with his weird Mountain Dew drink today. Yeah, tell everyone
Sponsored
about that.
Sponsored by Merry Mashup. Yeah, it's cranberry pomegranate Mountain Dew. So
Oh my goodness.
It's actually, he gave me a little
Yeah.
taste. It's actually not bad.
that's how you get hooked.
I thought I was
Yeah.
going to
Just a
hate
little
it.
taste.
Just the word pomegranate kind of makes me like clench up a little bit.
No,
I'm
that's
like,
yeah.
I don't like pomegranate flavored things,
That
but it's
that's
very
fair.
subtle.
Yeah, it's subtle.
Yeah.
Taco Bell let that one go by.
Yeah, yeah.
They're like, we got Baja Blast. That's all we need.
Yep.
Yeah.
They have some strange flavors at Taco Bell's.
Yeah.
They like, I had one a few weeks or months ago. It was like some sort of mango thing.
Oh yeah.
It was awful. Like I'd rather like, I don't know, like choke down like a tube of toothpaste or something. I mean, it was just like
I think
Wow.
it was terrible.
they could only,
Come up with
strike
so
it,
many flavors.
strike it rich on so many, and I think
Yeah.
Baja Blast was their hit for that, and and Dorito Nacho.
No, I don't know, man.
Tacos.
well, Code Red. I mean, come on.
Code Red. What? I don't know if that was a Taco Bell.
No,
No,
but
that's
I'm just saying,
not-
as far as like,
Oh.
as
Like
far
a-
as like, alternate dudes.
Oh yeah.
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 Yeah, there's
No,
you can see which ones have survived over the years
It was actually
and which ones have not.
Yeah. Garrett Free, comic writer, local dude. He actually said he feels that it's Baja Blast is the perfect pairing to Taco Bell tacos. So And I have to agree. Like that's a good. Like if you're gonna pair with, garbage tacos, then no, they're
Yeah.
not garbage though. They're not that bad. So.
Yeah, bite your
Well,
tongue.
no, they
Yeah.
won the food wars.
Oh yeah, they want the food. Oh, that's true. Yeah, in the future,
Yeah.
everything's Taco Bell.
Yeah, that's right. if we're to believe Demolition Man,
Yeah, I choose to believe that. Yeah,
that's a world I want to live in.
yeah,
Oh boy.
yeah.
Oh, but we joke, but Taco Bell really is the best.
We're trying to get the goofiness out now.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get that Taco Bell sponsorship, man. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
There you go. Okay.
I want, like a year from now, I want to be Comic Book Pit sponsored by Taco Bell.
Yep.
I'll wear like a Taco Bell shirt, hat.
There you go.
Put a bell tattoo
Yeah.
on my shoulder. I don't care, man. Do it all. Give me that TB love.
You'll Kiro Taco Bell.
I shouldn't say TB love. That sounds pretty bad.
Yeah,
that's like tuberculosis.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Anywho, so we're here to talk about some comic books. I know you guys said you're a little light on your material, but I can get things started,
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
and then we can filter you guys in as need be. As I've got. I mean, it's not like a
some
ton of
this
stuff
might
to
refresh
talk.
my memory too, because it's like a blur. Holidays.
That is true. Yeah, we're coming off the Thanksgiving holiday, and
Yeah.
now we're going into Christmas time, and it's going to get a little crazy.
Yeah.
So, well, yeah. So I guess the first thing I wanted to talk about, the first thing I read was, it's kind of a not awkward title, but I feel like it's lengthy. It's Star Trek: Picard: Countdown #1, and this is, I believe, like a
How's that?
prequel series to the
The new
show that's coming out on CBS All Access, and it's going to be. Now I don't know. I mean, I guess it has to be canon. I mean, otherwise, yeah, I guess. I mean, I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't know how.
Just for clarification, though, you're saying issue #1 and not number 1. Right.
Number
yeah,
one.
no-
Okay, exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
Issue 1, from IDW.
Number one.
I believe it's
Com.
IDW.
Yeah.
So this is the story is a story that's gonna lead into the show that's gonna be coming out, I think, next year.
Yeah.
oh yeah.
I mean, we're
I'm
almost
like
out
a
of
year. I'm like, oh wait, no, that's
Well,
next
yeah.
month.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Soon,
Very soon.
We'll say
Yeah.
soon. But yeah, that is IDW, and it's written by Kirsten Bayer and Mike Johnson, and art by Angel Hernandez, colors by Joanna LaFuente. I think Mike Johnson has done a lot of IDW's Star Wars stuff. Like I think he does a lot of the Abrams verse,
Oh, okay. Yeah, the name's
Stuff.
familiar.
which
Okay.
I've only read a little bit of, but it's like I don't know if the Abrams verse ongoing is still going, but it went for a significant number of issues, and they've got
Yeah.
like 4 or 5 trades out of Abrams verse
Mhm.
Star Trek. So they must be doing something right, you know. And I've heard it's been pretty good. And but no, I saw this. We got a review copy from IDW for this Picard, Star Trek Picard Countdown #1, and so of course I had to read it. So in this, this is before the show, but I guess after, somewhere after Star Trek Next Generation, but not to the point where Picard is like old and gray and all withered
He
or
never
whatever.
ages. So,
Yeah, I was gonna say. Yeah.
That's true. He really doesn't.
Yeah.
He's a space vampire. Picard is still in Starfleet. He's an admiral, and he is heading up this task force that is helping the Romulans because they're a year away from their entire system being engulfed by this supernova.
Yeah.
So Starfleet is like their mission right now is to help them evacuate all of their their planets and their systems and relocate them. And and if anyone has any passing knowledge of Star Trek, everyone knows that the Romulans are space dicks.
Yeah.
Like, no one likes the Romulans. Like, they're the worst. So of course they don't really make things easy. And there's in this first issue you don't see too many familiar faces other than Geordi LaForge has a brief moment in the very beginning. He's actually like the engineer in charge of. They're basically building an entirely new fleet for this mission to go get all the Romulans and relocate them. So you see a little bit of Geordi. They mention Will Riker and Deanna. They are Will is the captain of the USS Titan, which that's actually been like a series of novels.
Oh, okay.
So they've kind of spun that out. And this is some pretty good Star Trek. So there's a big portion of it is Picard doing. He's, like I said, he's kind of the head of this relocation task force, and he has to, he's kind of like a go-between. He's almost like an ambassador. He's got to go down to these to meet with these Romulan senators and kind of glad hand them a little bit. And in the process of visiting one of the planets that they thought was uninhabited, they find out something. I'm not going to spill too much about it because it's kind of actually an interesting twist. And the one thing that Star Trek's always been good at is like making commentary on the human condition, and they definitely do that in this issue. There are a couple things that do bother me, I will say. Picard has a new number one, if you will. He's got a second in command. This young woman. I don't think she's an alien. I think she, I forget her name, but she's very precious.
Okay.
If you know what I mean, like she kind of she calls him JL.
Oh, all right.
And she's kind of like snarky and funny, and gives him a little bit of sass. And I'm like, hold on a second, you're talking about Jean-Luc Picard. I feel like there are some rules when it comes to Jean-Luc Picard. You can only be familiar with him if you're Q,
Yeah.
or if you're at his level, or if you're older, or you know what I mean, or you have a higher, a higher calling or higher standing than him, you can be familiar with him. If you're just some like low junior officer, like,
yeah,
come on, you got to. This is Jean-Luc Picard we're talking
Yeah.
about here. Show some respect. So as a Trek nerd, that kind of like got under my skin a little bit. I'm like, don't call him JL. You're killing me. And then of course, like, and this has been, I feel like they've done this in the shows a bunch of times. Whenever they go to the future and you see like Starfleet in the future, and they've got future uniforms. They're almost always terrible. Like, they just can't design like good future uniforms. And I feel like it's also the case here. Like they're just trying too hard with the current, like the future or the current Starfleet uniform, whatever you want to call it. Like, it's almost like New 52-ish. Like, there's just too many lines. They're just too busy.
Oh.
Just too many lines, and it's like, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Or less is more. Like, whatever you want to go with. I still maintain the best Starfleet uniform were the full black jumpsuits with like the gray shoulders and the different colored like collars or whatever.
Yeah.
Those were the best. But I mean, I understand that everybody wants to put their own spin on the classic uniform. But the art was really good, which a lot of times for a property like this, they any any property where like, there's a TV show or a movie, like you feel like there's that fine line between just doing like straight up screen captures or the characters not looking at all like anything that they should resemble. But no, the art of the Angel Hernandez does a really good job of like actually making the characters look like the characters without it looking like traced or whatever. And the like the sci-fi aspects look really good, like the ships, the technology, the Romulans, the different like this person can actually like draw backgrounds and draw like alien cities and things like that. So it was pretty good. I really enjoyed this first issue. I had a lot of trepidation going in because I feel like a lot of the recent Star Trek I've read from IDW has just been kind of mediocre at best. I've read some stuff and I'm just like, this is just not good. But Star Trek Picard Countdown #1 was really good. I would recommend it if you're at all interested in the upcoming Picard TV show. I would check this out. Not in that you need to read it in order to understand it, but I think it's almost like just a little, get the little flavor.
Yeah.
Get a little Picard in your mouth. Yeah. That just sounded awful.
Yeah. It's Muy Picarde. Yeah.
Muy Picarde.
Yeah.
So that's what So Star Trek Picard #1.
Number one.
Countdown #1. Check it out if you want some good Trek. And I have a feeling that we'll get more cameos from other characters and stuff like that. So
nice.
I think
All right.
Yeah, I gotta go. I need to know what this is.
You got to go.
He's like, Link's dying here.
Yeah,
like, I gotta know what this
to
book
hear
is.
about this.
So, yeah, I'll hold it up. I do that. The Walking Dead.
Walking Dead, but I thought that was done.
It's over. But wait, there's more. It's called The Alien. It's a one-shot from Brian K. Vaughan.
Oh, I've read this.
Yes, you have. I read it too, but I read it again.
Yeah.
Actually, I don't think I read it the first time. I think I just...
Oh, really?
All right, so here's the
Go ahead. Go
backstory. Backstory is Brian K. Vaughan approached... what's his name?
Kirkman.
Sorry.
Sorry,
Robert Kirkman.
That guy.
That guy.
Yeah, that guy.
Yeah.
But he's like, hey, I want to write a Walking Dead story. It's going to take place in France or whatever. He's like, what do you think about this? And he's like, yeah, go ahead. He's like, you're Brian K. Vaughan. You're awesome. And so he wrote this, and him and Marcos Martin put this book out as an online only.
Okay.
There you go.
That's why I was like,
Yeah.
this sounds vaguely
Wait
familiar.
a minute.
Yeah.
Never before in print.
Okay.
I actually did purchase this about a year or two ago. Like, I heard about it, and I was like, all right, I'm going to buy the PDF copy or whatever. And I'm pretty sure I never read it, because when I sat and actually read this, I was like, wait a minute. I'm like, hey. So, anyway, it's the last Walking Dead story because the book ended. So, but basically, this is and the other part, this was released on local comic shop day, which was like 2 Saturdays ago. And this was their thing, so I think that's what they were just trying to do. Like, here, let's give you something that's not a reprint.
Yeah.
Even though you've read it, but we'll put it out.
But
And,
probably not a lot like the people that were drawn into the comic, maybe like from the show.
Yeah.
That maybe you know what I mean, like people that were fans in reverse.
Yeah.
Maybe have probably would not have known to like read that or find it or something.
Right. So basically, this is like pretty much at the start of the Walker Menace, at the start of the whole thing. And this American guy is in France, and he's trying to just find his way back to the States before everything completely shuts down. and so you kind of follow him along in the story. He learns the whole, people are eating people.
Yeah.
It's like it is pretty basic as far as like, the zombie threat.
Yeah.
Like let's set it up, and he's joined by this woman who shows up on a moped, which is kind of funny, and saves the day. But she, in a way, this is kind of like, as I'm reading this, I felt like she became the main character.
Mm-hmm.
So it was kind of strange that it seemed like as soon as he met her, he sort of took a back seat.
Okay.
It
Yeah.
was just like, oh, okay, well, you're going to help me get out of the city.
Mm-hmm.
And, and then she's flirting with him. Like, that was kind of weird. I don't know. But anyway, so that's their plan. They're just trying to get out. And there's a twist at the end that I almost don't want to spoil. But there is a connection. I will just say
okay.
that there's a connection to
It's
the
not
main
just a random gotcha.
to the main book.
Yeah.
A big one that I was like, when I read it, I was like, oh crap, I would have remembered this. I
Yeah.
know I didn't read this before.
Okay.
The artwork's awesome in it. I love it.
Oh yeah.
Marcos
Martin, he's pretty awesome.
Yeah. The pacing's really nice. It's one of the, actually he did all the, now that I look at his walkers, he did the covers. He did a series of covers, I think. Or no, he did the issue 100. He did one of them variant covers.
Okay.
Now that just knowing it, his style. So anyway, what's kind of funny, and I don't want to show link this because I don't want to spoil it, but
Yeah, I need to track this down.
but there's something that happens. I'll show you. Should I show the viewers? No. But basically, this is a black and white book, except for one page. There's some.
That's cool.
It's sort of like, you got red on you, that kind of
Yeah.
thing. So without saying what happens exactly, but yeah, it's kind of neat because when you get to that, there's a nice shock value too. That you're like, whoa, wait a minute, this was like a black and white, thing, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh crap. So
Yeah, and that came out a while ago, like originally, because that's when
at least
BKV and Martin, where they were doing that other, like that online only series.
Yeah.
I forget what it was called. It was like a six.
Oh,
it
that's
was like a
right.
5 or 6 issue.
That's right.
Online only. It was one of those things like you pay what you want. Like you could
I know
just
what you're
say
talking-
like
yeah, and they released that in trade eventually too, I think.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was the deal with this too, I think originally, is you could pay whatever you felt.
Yeah.
And they probably still offer it that way as well.
Yeah, he's got that BKV money.
Yeah. Yeah, he
good.
doesn't care, I forget what I paid. I think I probably $3 to $5 or
Yeah.
something, just because I'm like, well, it's a comic book.
Sure,
It's probably
yeah.
that value. So originally. This one is $6, so pick which one you want to.
You pay twice for it.
Yeah, exactly. They got me again. Kirkman. Yeah.
But yeah, since that was a local comic shop day exclusive, you might be able to find it at your LCS, but you might not either. I mean,
Yeah.
it was specific to that day.
Right.
So
there's no telling
yeah,
how they ordered for that.
not only that, now that the local comic shop day is over, I mean, beware, the price could be now jacked up.
Yeah.
Oh, that's true. Yeah. Yeah.
So, hopefully, you can find it, and you have a shop owner who's pretty cool that maybe will give it to you for cover price. But don't be surprised if, you go somewhere and find it now it's like $10 or something,
Yeah.
or if you look on probably like eBay, it's probably jacked up.
I think they'd also probably collect that in a collected edition at some point.
I would think so.
'Cause they've done it with other
Yeah, I feel like
Christmas one shot and like other weird little
Yeah.
things they've done throughout the years.
I like the
So they'll
title.
probably show up in something.
The title's kind of funny because they called it the Alien, and that was always the joke.
The joke,
was that the aliens started the
well, that
the
yeah,
dead.
that's how he pitched it to.
but they never said, he never came out and said that for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But in issue 75, he did that full color backup ish. It was like a.
I thought that was 100.
I thought it was 75.
Mm.
I don't remember, but it was supposed to be more comedic. Like,
yeah. No,
Yeah.
like a
aliens
funny
came
little
down.
backup.
Yeah.
One
Yeah,
shot
because they
scene.
they did it in color.
Yeah.
And didn't I think Eric Larson?
Yeah, I
Oh,
think
yeah,
so.
I think
right.
Eric Larson drew it.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's like in the Walking Dead mythos, you know,
Yeah.
Yeah.
which, you know, how's that show still on? No, that's the other show. That's our other episode.
Yeah.
Maybe we can.
Yeah. We can talk about that.
How's that still on? Tune in next time on the Comic Book Bit. So
Where we answer the pressing
Beats
question
me.
Yeah.
I'm not watching it.
of how there's a third.
and a
TV
third
series, yeah,
series
yeah.
coming.
Yeah.
Yep.
All
All
right.
right. Pressure's on me.
LinkedIn.
All right.
All right. So
Go
my
for it.
lone book
LinkedIn.
that I brought to talk about, and the sad thing is there's not a lot to talk about. I picked up Batman White Knight Presents because it's sort of like a one-shot deleted scene kind of thing. That's what Sean Murphy called it. Von
Oh.
Freeze, which is the White Knight backstory for Mr. Freeze in this
Oh,
universe.
nice.
It was interesting. It was really cool. It was a lot of I think they mentioned it briefly in the main series that his dad was like a Nazi scientist.
Oh, okay.
And so he's like that's why he's like Von Freeze of the
Oh,
blah blah
yeah.
blah, like yeah. But he came to America and all this stuff, and he's not really like, he's not Mr. Freeze. He's just like a cryogenic scientist, more or less.
Oh, okay.
At least as far as I can remember from
Yeah.
the book. Like he isn't like in the full suit or anything like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like a whole big flashback story about like his father developing the freeze ray in Nazi Germany. He had like another scientist that helped him who was Jewish, and it's this whole it's
Oh.
that kind of a story.
Okay.
It's a heavy story
Okay.
that deals with like betrayal and allegiances and all that kind of stuff. Without getting too into it, the interesting part though was it wasn't drawn by Sean Murphy, which he's been
Oh.
drawing this book, the entire book
Yeah.
up to this point. No, the art was by Klaus Janson from
Yeah. Okay.
Dark
just
Knight
did the-
Returns and
Did he just do the Santa Claus book too? Or am I just confusing?
you're
'cause
just
it's Claus?
mixing clauses together.
Claus. All right, never mind.
Yeah, I'm not sure on that.
I thought it was. but never mind.
But no, I thought that was interesting, and there's like a little backup in the back where
Yeah.
Sean Murphy talked about how he's like one of his idols, and he inspired him as an artist. And
Oh, nice.
It was
That's
like a
actually
nice
cool.
little,
Yeah.
and then basically I guess they just decided to do a book together, and DC said do whatever you want, and they're like, all right,
Really?
We're gonna- yeah.
yeah.
yeah, they got free reign to do
That's
this weird
cool.
little one shot.
All right. Cool.
But yeah, it was really cool.
All right. I
I
still
definitely,
have,
even if you have like no clue about like White Knight, just go for
That's
it.
actually-
it's fine.
I didn't want to, because I didn't want to hinder your review. So
Mhm.
I didn't. I have that in my pile to read, and I haven't read it yet.
Okay.
No. I'll probably sift it to the top.
Yeah,
You
they
know what I
say
mean?
they say it like
it's-
it fits in somewhere in the
Okay.
second one if you want to fit
Yeah.
it somewhere, but it
Okay.
yeah,
But it doesn't have
Cool.
to.
it doesn't have to. No, you
Okay.
just can read it as like, oh, this is a weird Elseworld backstory
cool.
origin thing.
Okay.
I just read today that a third
Yes.
volume or third series
Mhm.
of Batman White Knight has been.
What?
Yeah,
got
Sean
the
Murphy
green light.
just announced
Wow.
it. I think it was called Beyond Batman White Knight, so it might be
Oh.
Futuristic Batman Beyond
Ooh,
stuff.
All right. Jeez.
Which that's my go-to.
Maybe we're gonna
That's
get
awesome.
what's his
Yeah.
name, Terry
Terry McGinnis.
Terry McGinnis. Yeah.
It'll be interesting. Just to like, I like that he's just running with like his own Bat universe.
Yeah.
Like, all right,
Yeah.
How great is that?
I can't
Yeah.
complain. Like, I love seeing him draw Batman.
Yeah.
So
The Murphyverse.
Yeah.
yeah.
Or just let him run wild. That's awesome.
Yeah. And I've been enjoying the main book so far. So
Yeah.
Like-
Yeah. What am I reading? The only one I'm caught up on right now is the Bane. The
I
Batman
meant the
Bane.
main White Knight.
Oh,
book.
the main White Knight.
Yeah, yeah,
I think I only read 1 or 2 issues. if
Oh.
that, of the new one.
yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I only read the first issue of the new one.
hmm It got a little bit better. It was rough that first issue. I wasn't really sure what they were doing, but
Mhm.
Yeah.
I figured I'm there.
I figured I'd let them
yeah.
pile up. And then
That's a
read them
good
all.
call. Like you can
Yeah.
just, I feel as if this is something that just might read better in bulk too.
Okay.
Just,
Yeah, that's how I read the first volume, the
Okay,
the original. That was just Batman.
The back half. That's how I read it. Yeah.
Yeah, just because, and I think I said this before, but yeah, Sean Murphy's stuff is beautiful to look at.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes his writing is a little tough for me, but I power through it because of his art is just amazing.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
Oh, I'm gonna keep on the DC angle for a minute. I bought a. We talked in the pre-show that like the past week or two the comics have been a little weird, like almost like not a lot to read in a sense, like not a lot of stuff that I normally read has been coming out. So I took a flyer on a couple of books that I've heard good things of, and I think they're both written by the same guy, Robert Venditti, who he's been around for a while. He got first, I think he gained some notoriety from his indie series, The Surrogates. If you remember, remember The Surrogates, and they actually turned that into a movie. It was like a Bruce Willis movie, like a sci-fi movie.
Is that the one with the robots, where he had like they piloted from inside their house or something like that? Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. So he's definitely got like a sci-fi, a little bit of sci-fi in him, but just overall, I mean, he's just a good writer, and so he took over Hawkman, and he started it like with Brian Hitch, and they've been, I think only recently, I think the art team has changed, but it's still Robert Venditti, but like Brian Hitch drew like the first 12 or like 14 issues, and so I read the first couple, and it's really good. Like I've got like, it's one of those weird things. Like I kind of have this, like Hawkman's a weird character I have like a soft spot for, where I really love the idea of Hawkman. I love his look, and I even love like the weirdness behind Hawkman, like the reincarnation aspect. But I've never really read a lot of Hawkman, like not really in his own series. Usually he's always been part of a team.
Yeah.
So I thought I would try this, and I really dug the first two issues. He's it's almost like they focus more on Carter Hall as a scholar and as an archaeologist and as an kind of an adventurer. I mean, he does his Hawkman thing too, about like in each issue, but he's almost more like an Indiana Jones type of character.
That's cool.
And he's following clues around the world, trying to learn more about his own background, and but he's fully aware that he is part of this circle of, if you want to call it like a circle of life, it's a little cheesy, but where he the whole reincarnation thing, and how he's been different versions of Hawkman through different different eras, different alien races, and Brian Hitch. I mean, he's Brian Hitch. I mean, he's really good, but he's not really. He's reined in a little bit. Like he's not doing. We're used to Brian Hitch doing his widescreen movie, like Ultimates and Authority, like widescreen action shots, and there's some of that there. But he's a little bit more reined in. He's actually doing more of a storytelling than he is like just balls out action. So I'm gonna keep reading Hawkman. It was a nice fill in, like on a week when there really wasn't a lot to read. So I would recommend that. And then also the other Robert Venditti book that was recommended is a 12-issue maxi series that he's writing, and Eddie Barrows is drawing freedom fighters, and it's I guess it's very similar to that show, The Man in the High Castle.
Okay, yeah.
Where the Axis wins the war, and against America and its allies. This is a story that takes place on Earth X, where the Nazis have won, and it's it's a group of like the book says, freedom fighters. It starts out in the 60s, in the early 60s, where you've got actually Jesse Owens is the leader of the freedom fighters. He's not superpowered or anything, but he is an enemy of Hitler because of his performance in the Olympics in the 30s. He's like an enemy of the state, but he's also a symbol of hope and resistance, and so everyone's like, protect Jesse, keep Jesse alive, and then you've got characters that are familiar, like Dollman and Black Condor, and I forget the other guy's name. The Human Bomb. And then it cuts to 55 years into the future to basically the present day, and where the resistance is growing again, because it had kind of the resistance had kind of been killed in the 60s, and but now it's back, and yeah, this was a really fun book, and also very like I would say kind of timely in the sense. I mean, not that it was like so heavy-handed, like, oh, this is the world we live in, and everything sucks, and racism, and blah blah blah, and Nazis, and there weren't so like the direct parallels to our culture was it wasn't like that, like it wasn't really like heavy-handed, but it felt very very relevant, but it was still at the end of the day it was still a fun superhero book, about superheroes fighting back against the Nazis. So the writing and the art were spectacular, so I'm going to it's probably another one I'm going to keep going with.
Nice.
So there.
All right.
Suck on that. That was your Vendetti corner.
Oh, me. The camera's on me. Okay. No, the Star Wars number 75 is coming up next.
Nice. Is it the last one?
It's the last one. I'm done reading this book until the next number one.
Is that a Phil Noto cover?
It is a Phil Noto cover. Phil Noto's had a big role in this book, I think, as far as like in the Star Wars universe too. He's done a lot of the individual issues. This one he just did the covers, and or did he do the? Wait a minute, hold on.
Uh-oh.
No, he did do the art. I was like, who drew this? Oh my God, it's Phil Noto.
Nice.
So good.
That's a nice surprise.
It is, but you know what? It's funny because he does more of his stylized for the cover, but
sure,
then
it's like more painted looking.
Yeah, and it's a little more traditional inside. And then Greg Pak is writing it, and this.
That book.
I'm actually not going to give this a glowing review. So
okay. I was
yeah.
gonna say that book traded writers a lot, huh?
It did. They they had a pretty solid team, I think, up until issue 50 or so.
Okay, and then they just started tossing it around.
Yeah, and then Greg Pak took over, and this storyline called Rebels and Rogues, Part 8. It took 8 issues to tell this story.
Yikes.
And I felt the payoff was not worth it. Like, and I'm also feeling that this is not where you end. Like, basically what they've done is they're ending the New Hope era.
Yeah.
So they're saying this is right before Hoth, like before you go into Empire Strikes Back, and there's no transition. They even like label it on the cover with Destination Hoth.
Oh yeah.
There is nothing in this story about them going to Hoth. Yeah, there's no. Nothing.
Not even them like pulling out like a folded roadmap like
Yeah.
us.
Right.
Hoth.
Right. Like I would have appreciated that. And then unbeknownst to anyone too is for the next issue, they're like Star Wars next issue on December 18th. Destination Hoth concludes. And I'm like, what Hoth?
Wait, oh, and
In Empire Ascendant #1.
they're marveling it.
Yeah, it's
It's a one shot.
one shot.
The Alpha
There's
and
the-
Omega book kind of
Like
thing.
yeah, exactly. It's a
I
bookend
hate
Oh.
their
to
bookend stuff.
to bridge their transition into to Hoth. And I was like, what I wanted was them, like I remember the old comic strips, from the daily papers, and that had more, in agreement with them moving to Hoth. Like they were showing them setting up the base, and it's like, okay, well we got an away mission, but they would leave Hoth, or they're like, or there's these caves we have to explore. There's like some sort of big spice thing going on here, like they had storylines that actually were, in accordance with that. And this, they're just like, all right, Empire Strikes Back, watch the movie and then come back, and we're going to be in post-Empire Strikes Back era. And it's like, what?
Yeah,
Like what? So I'm a little bummed about that.
that's a really awful
And-
way to end a 75 issue run. Just be like, eh.
I almost feel that maybe
Or to-
I have more criticism about this book too.
Okay.
That's
Do it.
just the surface. Like
Do it.
I
Rip
didn't
that
realize.
Band-Aid off.
I didn't even realize until I sat down that I'm like, man.
Open the gates, man.
Yeah.
Do
So, I haven't had a rant in a good while. No, but the other thing too is I feel like maybe they pulled the rug out, on this team, and they were just like, we're ending the book, just end it, 75, and they gave them because also the story itself, the first thing they did was split the dream team up, and they were like, okay,
Well,
Luke
okay.
gets a mission, Han and Leia get a mission, and then Chewbacca and 3PO get a mission.
Okay.
And they're all working towards basically getting the Empire distracted into where is the Rebel base.
Sure.
So they're just trying to mislead them.
I think I remember you mentioning this.
Yeah, I think I maybe mentioned it at the beginning, months ago.
Yeah.
And, Chewbacca and 3PO discovered rock people on this planetoid.
Oh, I feel like you mentioned that before.
Yeah,
And-
yeah.
I do remember this now.
They were like, we're gonna blow it up, and then Vader showed up, and that was cool. Like, there's some good conflicts in this. There was a good thing with Han and Leia pretending to be married, which alluded to their love interest in the movies, which was kind of cool for that. And then Luke learning a little bit more, Jedi stuff, but it was really just a reference back to Rogue One.
Sure.
And,
yeah.
with the I'm one with the Force, and the Force is with me. That. And so anyway, this comes together. They all end up at that planetoid, and they're like, we can't stop it from blowing up. And then the rock people are like, oh, don't worry about it. And they blow it up, and there's literally the whole planet is a giant rock monster. And I'm like,
Okay.
what? Like, it's bigger
Yeah.
than a Star Destroyer, and there's just a giant rock. And even the rock people are like, it's cool, we'll float
Yeah.
in space, and we'll reform the planet when it sleeps again. Like this giant rock I'm like, wait, what? Like, this is even like
Yeah.
getting a little too crazy for Star
That's
Wars.
some comic booky
Yeah.
Star Wars. Yeah.
And that was my I'm on a rant.
That's my first thing.
That's my
Here's-
first. But also, like, and I'm even going to step on this one too, but that's my least favorite thing about the Hobbit movies was the giant rock monsters fighting.
Oh,
Because I was
sure.
like,
yeah.
how does that work? Like, I get it, like
Magic.
magic, right, magic. But I get it in Galaxy Quest for
Sure,
some reason.
yeah.
I was okay with that. But I was like, how are these rock things actually working? Like, how does that function? And these guys, they were just, I don't know, it was bizarre. I was like, what a bizarre ending
That is
for a
weird,
series.
Yeah.
where they're just like, giant rock planet
Yeah.
saved us from the Star Destroyer. And it's like, what? You know?
That does seem like a weird. That's like some Ewok movie payoff.
Yeah.
Where it's like, okay.
Yeah.
Like it's the twist sounds clever. Like it's like, oh, but like the actual concept sounds dumb.
Like it hatches and
Yeah.
they get away and then they just show, Vader almost had Luke at this point. And it could have been so much more too, because in the Vader comic they had revealed that by this time Vader already knows that Luke is his son.
Yeah.
So they could have done something with that in the book here, but they didn't. They got near each other. Vader was about to pounce, and the Rock people saved him or whatever. Something happened like that. Chewbacca got to grapple with Vader, which was kind of cool.
I think I saw that. Didn't he he smash him over the head with a giant boulder or something?
Yeah.
That looked pretty awesome.
It was a little grappling, and then Vader just kind of force chokes him. And he's like, "Oh, crap."
So is Vader's weakness just rocks?
I guess.
That's the secret weakness. It's because they're giant pieces of sand.
Ah, there it is. Yeah, there you go. So, as for an ending to a series that's been really good, very disappointed in that was the end.
That's rough.
So,
well, I guess it's technically not the ending.
Right. It never ends.
Well, no, I meant that that one shot.
Oh, and then you have the one shot.
Because that, I guess, is the end of the Hoth.
That's probably what
whatever
they told
that
him.
is.
I mean, honestly, that's probably was an editorial decision.
Yeah.
Let's start the new year with something new. So they're like, we'll just give you a one shot to wrap it up with Hoth.
And I don't like that just because it should end in the actual book.
It should.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. That's the bummer.
There's just something special about that being like, it's 75 issues of this.
And it's over.
Plus one other random thing.
What? Yeah. Plus one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's weird. So, yeah, I was bummed. I mean, Greg Pak still, he does a lot of good character stuff, and, Phil Noto's awesome. So.
Oh yeah, he's. Yeah.
I mean, for that reason.
And has this just been monthly, or has it been like doubled up every month? Like
it
75 seems like a weird number.
I feel like they may have doubled up here at the end.
Okay. I was like, have they really been cranking out Star Wars comics for 6-7 years?
Since Force Awakens, I think, is when, and that's only been 4 years.
Yeah, it's not okay. So yeah, they definitely.
Yeah, so they
cranked out some extras.
They sped it up during the summer. They, Marvel.
Okay. Yeah.
Marvel, and they're like, we need 18 issues a year,
Yes.
of every book.
Yep.
So, yeah. That's how they get them. So, anyway. Yeah. January 1st, Star Wars #1, The Empire Strikes Back era, post-Empire era, which will be titled Star Wars.
Oh,
they're
well
not even
then.
gonna.
Sure. I mean, that's kind of cool in a way that all the
they're just-
volumes will be like based.
Yeah.
Like volume 1 is.
That's true. I
episode
think
4.
Marvel,
Yeah.
the original Marvel series was volume 1, maybe. I don't know
Oh,
if
that
this
makes
one-
sense. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know
So
if
this
this
would be
is
volume
considered.
2, I guess.
It doesn't say that here, but I feel like that's what they were going
Yeah.
for.
No, that yeah.
So, anyway. There you go.
All right.
So I was thinking, and it's not a big review, but I remember on our last show we were talking about I was going to drop Green Lantern.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
I'm not dropping Green Lantern.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Black Stars was really good. They swung back up into Black Stars is the 3-issue miniseries that is bridging season 1 of Grant Morrison's Green Lantern with season 2. It was really cool. It picks up right where the finale ends, but they tell it in the story is being told in reverse from like day 6, and it goes to day 5, 3, 2, 1.
Okay.
Of Hal Jordan's experience with the Black Stars, who are they're working for the I'm blanking on my space DC stuff. The Monitors. Does that sound?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're like a sort of pseudo Green Lantern group. Not Green Lanterns, but they're like
Manhunters?
no, they're I think they were called Monitors. They're
Maybe
like,
it was monitors. Yeah.
it's yeah, they're but they are like these. I think they're like these. This split off from the OA Blue Dudes.
Okay.
They're
Guardians.
like some like old like weird
Okay.
giant blue faced guy, Grant Morrison stuff. But yeah, he's working for them, and there's like they're just kind of going around like being space fascists. They're just
Okay.
like, hey, ship up or shape out, and the book opens with them like landing on this planet of, for lack of a better word, Hellraiser Cenobites, like
Okay.
aliens that are like kind of parodies of them, and telling them to stop being dicks or we're gonna blow up your planet. And then to make like an example of one of them, like they just like Green Lantern ringed somebody and like obliterated them. So it's interesting to see like how Jordan kind of being this bad cop, and he's not intentionally he's like kind of undercover, kind of trapped in this situation now because the actual Green Lantern group has dissolved. So now he's just like stuck in deep cover until they figure out what the hell's going on and how to bring the Lantern Corps back. So it's interesting again. Like it kind of, like we were talking, they were doing the multiversal lanterns and all that stuff, which was kind of but this is a lot more interesting. This is
Okay.
It really does. It does play into like every single like weird like crime drama trope that you can think of. Is what Morrison's just been doing this whole book.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's pretty cool. So that's my mini review.
Nice.
Okay. So I guess the last thing I have to talk about, and I don't want to say I'm gonna end on a downer, but I read Firefly, The Sting hardcover.
Oh.
Is that with the I don't even remember the character's name, the red-haired
Saffron?
girl? Yes.
Yeah.
Oh.
It was like a standalone story. Let me pull it up here. It was written by I want to say like a I think she's like a New York Times bestselling author, but she's also she may have, this may be her first comic work, I don't know. And she's teamed up with let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different artists on this.
Oh boy.
Which, well, and that was by design because they told this story. It's Saffron who puts together. It's like very like Ocean's 11 esque, where she puts together this this job, and ropes in all the ladies from Firefly, or from Serenity.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
Which on paper sounds pretty good. I feel like it, maybe it, instead of it being like a 132-page hardcover, it could have been like a double-sized issue, or like a 2-issue miniseries, or a 3-issue miniseries, or something.
Did it start as straight to graphic novel, or was it digital first? Because it almost sounds like each issue would be a character.
That's what it should have been. I agree. That one of my issues with this book was there was no distinctive break between the characters.
Okay.
So each character was handed over to a different artist to tell the job from their point of view, and that wasn't really done well. There was no transition, so you didn't know between the art and even narration. You didn't know, like, all of a sudden, like the story starts off from Saffron's point of view, and then switches to Zoe's point of view, and you don't. Then all of a sudden you're like, wait, there's a different artist. Wait, now Zoe's narrating.
Yeah.
It was a little confusing. It got to the point where I got about halfway through and I just stopped reading it. I just kept flipping through it because actually all the artists were really good. They all did a pretty good job. But as I'm reading this, it just really felt like somewhat mediocre fan fiction.
Okay.
It was like taking all like catchphrases and cute parts from the show and from the movie and putting them in a book.
Yep.
And like at one point they used the phrase "big damn heroes." And at the end, like they're getting away and they get back to the ship, and River says to Simon, "I swallowed a bug again." And I'm like, well, wait a second, that doesn't really.
Yeah.
That was in the movie, and then
Yeah.
that doesn't really work out because Wash is dead, and Wash
Yeah.
was in this book, and it's like,
Oh yeah.
and some of the characterizations didn't really sit right. So at one point, so all the women are at a spa. This is how Saffron gets them. They take all the women leave Serenity. The ship is stuck at a port until Mao pays like the dock fee or something, docking fee. So they're like, okay, we're all going to a spa. Again, weird.
Yeah.
Like, we're all gonna go, take a spa day. So they're at this luxury spa, and at one point Kaylee is walking into this pool, and like everyone else is there. They're all like lounging in chairs and stuff, and Kaylee is essentially walking into this pool naked. And there's like a plant like strategically placed.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking there's no way, even surrounded by other women, that character is not going to walk naked in front of her friends and whatever. Like, that character does not walk around naked.
Right.
She's not going to walk into a pool in front of her friends naked.
Right.
And later on, there's a scene where Anara like breaks down crying because Mao said something mean to her. In front of like the other women, and I'm like, again, this character is not going to do that. Like, I feel like her companion training would prohibit her from, even in front of like people that she considers friends. And
right, it would be better to do like a maybe in her head kind of narrative,
or like in private.
Right.
But so, I just didn't feel like this. They really had the characters down.
Yeah.
Okay.
In a lot of the scenes, and again, the book just got real long in the tooth. Like, it was not a good heist story. It got real, because when you're telling when you're telling this story from everybody's different point of view, it just really just dragged.
Yeah.
And I think, like I said, the only thing that I feel saved it was the art. The art in each section was pretty decent. But the story overall, I was, just disappointed with. I really wanted to like it because I thought this was an interesting take on the whole Firefly universe. You don't really ever see like the female characters interacting in a group like that.
Yeah. Sounds like it would be a really good TV episode too. Just like the way it would be filmed, and like kind of like a multi-perspective. Like, I mean, I've seen that done in TV before, and it works out great. But I think, reading something would convey that same feeling.
What I picture is Adam Hughes illustrating it, and maybe doing his rendition of, like you said about Kaylee. I could see him being, he would illustrate her as, being shy, and having her coming down to the water with her, covered. And then just kind of letting it off.
Not showing her nethers.
But he would do it in a way that, should be
he
cute.
Would, right, exactly. It would be more faithful to the character than just her, like, walking into a pool.
I could picture him doing that.
Yeah.
But I can't picture, her just going, whoa,
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and it was just, it wasn't even, like, a very, like the scene was very, like, it was almost like a background thing. Like, it wasn't like it was done to be,
it was just
sexy or silly or whatever. But it was like, but it was something I noticed, and I'm like, that is not right.
Yeah.
And not to be like a nitpicky fanboy, but that's what fans notice.
Yeah.
The little things like that. It's like, and especially with a property like this, it's like, if you don't get the characters just right,
Right.
don't even bother because people are going to call you out on it.
Right. You should be able to hear hear the sound of their voice when you're reading their dialogue.
Mm-hmm.
I think.
Yeah, and that's another thing. Like the dialogue was okay. It wasn't great. I felt like, like someone like Zoe, at some point she was a little too talky. Whereas like that character is usually she's very stoic,
right,
and she's very matter of fact, and she's not super jokey. Like she'll,
right,
she'll zing you once in a while, but she's got a very dry sense of humor.
Yeah.
And she's not a girly girl. I mean, she's a gorgeous physical specimen. And but the only one that treats her that way is Wash.
Yeah.
But to everyone else, she's just a badass.
Like tough as nails. Yeah.
Yeah.
A war hero.
Yeah, she's a soldier. She's a warrior. She's a
Yeah.
a Valkyrie, as he described her. I mean, like she's not a girly girl.
Yeah.
The fact that she would even let herself get dragged to a spa is almost laughable.
Yeah.
Oh, and there was again, like talking about how like they pulled certain things from like the show and the movie. At one point, Wash says something like, "I bought you a slinky dress," and I'm like, he mentioned that in like at one of the episodes. Like, Captain, can I have some money to buy her a slinky dress? And it's just, I feel like
somebody watch a show and
I just feel like they really lean too much into like too many references from the show.
Like they sat and watched it over a weekend, and then they were like, "I know how to write these characters."
Yeah, exactly. and on the other hand, so like I'm reading the Firefly ongoing, and that's written really well. Like the characters really seem like the characters without resorting to what I would consider like cheap tricks. Cheap writing tricks, like just leaning on that stuff. Like so like the Firefly ongoing from Boom, really good. Firefly, The Sting hardcover, not so good.
Okay.
So
all right.
Yeah.
That's all we got for books.
That's all I've got. You guys got any? I know you're pretty much done.
Still over here
I actually want to go off topic, but I just wanted to say what a good job you've done on Jovember, Dan.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
they've been really good.
Oh, thanks. I appreciate that.
And honestly, like other people have told me that too. So I'm passing it along.
Oh, really?
Yeah. But everybody out there, Jovember, basically like Inktober. The idea, though, is you draw G.I. Joes every day for the month. Mm-hmm. And your spin on it is to put them in everyday situations.
Yes.
Like their off time.
Yeah. Like what did G.I. Joe and Cobra do on their day off?
Yeah. And it's been a hoot. Like different people have said that. They're like, Brian and Colton at work. They're like, what's going on in Dan's head there? That's weird. They're like, but it's very amusing. And Ray, my friend Ray, he thought it was funny. So
cool.
Yeah, everybody's well received. It's well received.
Nice.
So, yeah.
Well, I appreciate that. Well, I was actually thinking about like, not that I'm doing a lot of like comic shows or like tabling or anything like that, but I thought it might be fun to put together as like a book, like a sketchbook or something.
Yeah.
And put it out there.
Do it as a coloring book.
Yeah. There you go. Well, because that was the one thing. Like, so I did Jovember last year. I didn't complete the entire month because I still enjoyed doing it, but I did the traditional like draw it in pencil and then go over it in color and everything. And this I just did like straight like black and white.
To black and white.
Yeah, just like pencil.
That's awesome.
Or I did it on my iPad, so it was like pencil.
Right.
But it was just all like just grays, just gray tones.
Yeah.
So that it was challenging, but it was still easier to do it that way than to do each one in color because that just takes so much more time.
Yeah.
But no, I appreciate that, and I want to since we're calling people out for that, I would like to mention our friend Ian Sharpley.
Yeah.
and who also
Ian was killing it.
yeah,
Yeah.
Ian's takes on his. I love his style, like his real like angular style.
This is that's what like, not to bring it back to like what we're doing with the Patreon, with the 7x7 comics, but that's the stuff that Ian was doing that caught everybody's eye, like how he does the sketchy, you can see the blue line, you can see the work that he puts into every layer to build that character and bring him out on the page. And that's what I told him. I was like, don't, when you do the comic, like, make sure that's in there.
Yeah.
Because that's my favorite part of, like, looking at his work, is seeing, like, you can see his process in the lines.
Yeah, you can kind of see the bones of the figure. Yeah, that's really
But
cool.
his,
And he but he did the whole month too.
Yeah.
He finished it up
You
with
guys both did it, right?
Cobra
You did
Commander,
every day?
Yeah.
Awesome.
I got delayed with Thanksgiving. So my
so you the big final dump.
Yeah. So I did 3 in a row, but in a way it kind of I like the way it worked out because I did the last 3 as like the last 3 major holidays of the year. I did Thanksgiving, Christmas, and New Year's.
Oh yeah.
So that was kind of fun. Although I stayed up till like 2:30 in the morning to get them finished.
Was that on Friday night by chance?
Yes.
I was also awake working on my comic.
Okay.
Until 2 in the morning. Yeah, strangely enough, that's funny.
Yeah.
That was the night I was like, I have to get it done tonight. I have this page was due today, and it's now 2 a.m.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I got to finish it. So.
Yeah, I thought, like, I don't want to let this go. It's already been delayed. I just want to, and it was also a personal thing. Like, I want to complete this. I want to be done with it. I don't want it hanging over my head. Yeah. Like last year's.
Yeah.
I want to actually finish it.
So you're jumping into DC Ember?
Probably not. I really thought about it. I really wanted to do December, but 2 monthly challenges in a row. It's a little too much.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll drop one in here and there or something like that just for funsies.
Yeah.
But I don't think I can do a daily drawing challenge 2 months in a row.
Yeah.
It's
I see that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah. It's tough. But no, but I had a lot of fun doing it, and I would recommend if anybody's interested in seeing what people did. There's a Facebook group.
Yeah.
It's Joevember, Joe and then Vember. Or you can just like go on like Instagram or Twitter and just do hashtag Joevember.
Yeah.
You'll probably see. I would do that every so often just to see like what other people like all across the.
Yeah, I thought. Did DJ did he start it? Or
he did. I don't think he finished.
No, but I mean, did he start Joevember?
Oh, I don't know.
Or was it somewhere else that it came from?
I don't know if he started it or if he was just kind of like a big proponent of it.
Maybe, yeah.
I think he was just like pushing it.
Yeah.
I think he was the one that I saw first doing it.
Okay.
But I think it's been around for a while, maybe a couple of years. And I think he was the first one I've seen start like actually participating.
I think if you can pun it, you should draw it. So.
That's right. We'll have to think of a drawing challenge, a pun drawing challenge for each month of the year.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Yep. Because I was it last year or 2 years ago? I think before I heard of Joevember, I was trying to get Marvember started.
Yeah. Oh, nice.
So it was going to be like, so November would have been like a Marvel character every day, and then that would have led into December, which would have been a DC character every day.
Marchel? No.
Yeah, you got Marvelch.
Marchville? I don't know. Try to come up with one.
Trying too hard.
Yeah. It's got a flow.
Yeah. You're just embarrassing yourself
like
now.
January. It's all Han Solo. Han Solo every day of January.
Ouch.
January, yeah.
That would be, wow. That would be interesting and awful.
Yeah. And this is a good place to end this.
Yeah. Okay.
No. Before I get worse.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks again for listening to the Comic Book Pit podcast. This has been episode 333. I'm Dan, and with me in the amazing Sorgatron Media Studios, we've got Scott
Peace.
and Link.
See ya.
And thanks again for listening, and we will see you next time.
All right. Let's take 5. Did I leave my drink somewhere? Or did I leave it in the car?
You must have left. I don't even think
Yeah,
I
I
saw you
didn't
bring
see
one
anything.
in.
Yeah, I must have.
I had a couple of ideas for the next
Okay.
episode. One of them I kind of already started. About when I made that post about like best like
The
Christmas
gifts, yeah.
you got like growing up.
Oh yeah.
And then I thought we could go into talk about the Mandalorian, like the first 4 episodes,
Yeah.
because we mentioned it briefly.
Yeah.
We're all caught up.
But we haven't
All right.
done like an in-depth.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
feel like I want to hear
yeah.
from you.
Oh yeah. There's. Oh, I got tons for that. But, yeah, I'm gonna run out and grab my
Okay.
drink real quick. 'Cause
All
I'm
right.
just right there. So.
All right. Yeah, I'm gonna stand up for a second.
The second one?
Yeah.
Yeah, is that cool?
Yeah.
Okay.
Still streaming?
Oh, yeah. Should I?
Hold on. Just keep it going.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll figure out about this second.
Okay.
Go
Oh.
and cut the record.
What's that?
Cut the record.
Cut the record on the stream.